Before you even take your first sip of coffee, before you check your phone, before you step into the chaos of the day, there is a moment that decides everything. A moment so small, most people never notice it. Yet it holds the power to shape your happiness, your success, and your entire future. That moment is the first thought you have when you wake up. For most people, that thought is filled with stress, with complaints, with the weight of yesterday's problems. And they don't even realize they've already surrendered their day before it's begun. But there's a secret, a shift so simple it almost sounds too good to be true. When you learn it, you won't just change your mornings, you will change your entire life. Today, I'm going to share with you the one habit that has the power to rewire your mind, multiply your opportunities, and bring you peace in the middle of any storm. It's not about money, it's not about titles, and it's not about luck. It's about something you already have within you, but you may not be using to its fullest potential. And if you give me these next few minutes, if you truly listen, you will walk away with a key that opens the door to a life of abundance, joy, and unstoppable momentum. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share could be the beginning of the best mornings you've ever had. When you open your eyes in the morning, you're not just waking up physically. You're waking up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That first spark of awareness is more powerful than most people realize. In those first few moments, your mind is like wet cement. Whatever thought you press into it will harden and set the tone for your entire day. And yet, what do most people do? They wake up and immediately grab their phone, scroll through bad news, compare themselves to others, or think about all the things they have to do, all the problems waiting for them. Without even realizing it, they've given away their power. They've let stress, fear, and negativity dictate the course of their day before it's even begun. But here's the truth. You have the choice. You have the ability to decide, right there in that moment, what kind of energy you're going to carry. You can choose a thought of gratitude. You can choose to say, I'm thankful for another day. I'm thankful for this breath. I'm thankful for the chance to live, to try, to grow. And when you choose gratitude as your first thought, something remarkable happens. Your perspective shifts. Instead of stepping into your day with heaviness, you step into it with lightness. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you start seeing what's already there. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about ignoring your problems. It's about anchoring yourself in something bigger than your problems. When you wake up and your first thought is thankful, you're telling yourself, I have a reason to keep going. I have something worth appreciating. That kind of mindset doesn't just make you feel good for a moment, it rewires the way you think, the way you react, and the way you move through challenges. Think about it. The first thought is like the first domino in a long chain. If that first domino is positive, if it's rooted in gratitude, it pushes every other thought and action in a better direction. You start the day already winning because you've aligned yourself with the energy of appreciation. And that changes how you see every interaction, every task, every obstacle. People around you feel it. They notice the way you carry yourself, the calm in your voice, the certainty in your presence. And it all started from the choice you made in those first seconds of being awake. Now imagine doing this not just once, but every single day. Imagine if every morning, without fail, you trained your mind to start with thankfulness. Over time, it becomes a habit. And when gratitude becomes your habit, your life transforms. The things that used to stress you don't hold the same power. The people who try to bring you down can't penetrate your peace. You begin to attract more good things, not because life suddenly gets easier, but because your eyes are now open to see them. I've met countless people who think their success, their happiness, their peace will come when certain conditions are met. When they get the promotion, when they lose the weight, when they meet the right person, when they move to the right city. But the truth is, happiness doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It grows where you plant it, and gratitude is the seed. If you plant it in your mind the moment you wake up, it will grow all day long. We live in a world that constantly tells us to do more, get more, prove more. And in chasing all that and more, we forget to notice the enough that we already have. Gratitude brings you back to that awareness. When you wake up and your first thought is thankful, you are telling the universe, I recognize what I've been given. I value it. I will not take it for granted. And life responds to that energy. It's almost as if the more grateful you are, the more reasons you're given to be grateful. Of course, this takes discipline. It's easier to reach for your phone. It's easier to replay yesterday's mistakes in your head. But easy doesn't build a powerful life. Choosing gratitude first thing in the morning is an act of self-leadership. It's telling yourself, I'm in charge of my day, not my circumstances. That's the kind of mindset that creates leaders, visionaries, and people who don't just survive but thrive. If you've never done this before, try it tomorrow. The moment you wake up, before you do anything else, say to yourself, out loud if you can, 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big. They could be as simple as I'm thankful for this bed. I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for the chance to try again today. Feel those words, don't just say them. Let them set the tone and watch how different your day feels. The truth is, you have more control over your life than you think. And it starts in the smallest, quietest moment, the moment you wake up. Fill it with gratitude, and you've already won before your feet even hit the floor. Most mornings, people rush through the start of their day without even noticing the miracle that it is. The alarm goes off, and instantly the mind is flooded with to-do lists, deadlines, and responsibilities. But what if for just a moment you paused? What if you opened your eyes and realized that waking up itself is an extraordinary gift? Because the truth is, no matter what you have or don't have, no matter where you are in life, the fact that you woke up this morning means you've been given another chance. And that alone is worth celebrating. When you wake up with gratitude, you start to see the magic in what others overlook. You begin to realize that a safe bed is not something everyone has, that the air filling your lungs is a privilege, that being able to hear the birds outside, to see the sunlight filtering through your window, to feel the floor beneath your feet, these are not small things. These are miracles disguised as ordinary moments. And yet, so many of us dismiss them because they happen every day. We think, it's just another morning. But when you truly understand how precious life is, you stop saying just another anything. The world trains us to be blind to our blessings. We become so used to them that we only notice them when they're gone. But gratitude reverses that blindness. It sharpens your vision so you can see how rich your life already is, even before you've had breakfast. When you wake up and choose to be thankful, you transform your morning into something powerful. You're no longer just going through the motions. You're present, you're aware, and you're grounded in the truth that life is happening for you, not just to you. I know there are days when you don't feel like celebrating anything. Maybe you're going through a loss. Maybe you're struggling financially. Maybe you're facing challenges that feel impossible. Gratitude in those moments is not about pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging that even in the middle of the struggle, there is still something worth holding on to. There is still light breaking through the darkness. When you can wake up in the middle of your toughest season and still say, I'm grateful I'm here, you've already won half the battle. Starting your day with this perspective changes how you experience everything that follows. Instead of rushing out the door in frustration, you might notice the way the morning air feels fresh against your face. Instead of letting traffic ruin your mood, you might turn on your favorite song and be grateful for the music. Instead of feeling drained by your responsibilities, you might remember that there was a time you prayed for some of the things you now have. Gratitude has this way of turning what you once saw as burdens into blessings. And when you see your morning as a miracle, you start to treat it like one. You become intentional with your time. You stop wasting the first part of your day on things that don't matter. You protect your energy because you realize the value of the day you've been given. People will notice the difference in you. They'll wonder why you seem calmer, happier, more centered. But it's not that your life has suddenly become perfect. It's that you've started to see the perfection that's already there. This shift also has a ripple effect. Gratitude in the morning doesn't just stay with you. It spreads to everyone you encounter. Your attitude sets a tone that influences the way people respond to you, the way opportunities present themselves, and even the way challenges resolve. It's like starting the day with a head start. Not because you've done more, but because you've aligned yourself with the energy of appreciation, and that energy draws more good into your life. If you've ever woken up dreading the day ahead, you know how heavy that feels. That heaviness is like an anchor that drags through everything you do, but gratitude is the opposite. It's a lift. It's a reminder that no matter what is ahead, you have the strength to face it because you're already winning simply by being here. And when you approach the day with that mindset, the challenges don't feel quite as overwhelming, and the victories feel even sweeter. So tomorrow morning, before you let the world's noise rush in, stop and notice the miracle of your own breath. Notice the safety of your home. Notice the fact that you're alive with another chance to make choices, to love, to learn, to grow. These are not small things, they are everything. And when you start to see them for what they are, your mornings will never be the same. Because every morning is a miracle, if you have the eyes to see it. There's something almost magical about the way gratitude can shift the energy inside you. The moment you wake up and choose to focus on what you already have instead of what you lack, you change the entire vibration of your day. It's not just a nice thought or a motivational phrase. It's a real, tangible shift in how you feel, how you act, and even how the world seems to respond to you. Gratitude has a way of unlocking positive energy that carries you forward, almost like a current, pulling you toward better moments, better choices, and better outcomes. Think about the mornings when you start off frustrated or stressed. Everything feels harder. The smallest inconvenience becomes a big problem, and the energy you give off attracts more of the same. But when you begin your day with gratitude, it's like stepping into a completely different reality. Your mind opens up, your heart feels lighter, and suddenly you have more patience, more clarity, and more motivation. That's not an accident. That's the power of the energy you've chosen to create. Gratitude works like fuel. It doesn't just make you feel good for a few minutes. It gives you the momentum to keep going throughout the day. When you appreciate what you have, you naturally become more resourceful with it. You make better use of your time, your opportunities, and even your challenges. You start to see possibilities where you once saw problems. That's because a grateful mind is a creative mind. It looks for solutions instead of dwelling on obstacles. I've met people who think they can't be grateful until everything in their life is perfect, but that's not how it works. Gratitude is not the reward at the end of the journey. It's the strength that carries you through it. And when you start your day appreciating what you have, you send a message to yourself and to the world that you're ready for more. It's almost as if life responds to your appreciation by giving you more reasons to feel it. Positive energy is contagious. When you walk into a room with gratitude radiating from you, people notice. They feel it in your tone, in your body language, in the way you listen and speak. It changes the way they interact with you. And sometimes, without you even realizing it, you become the reason someone else finds hope that day. That's the ripple effect gratitude creates. One small choice in the morning can impact countless people you encounter throughout the day. This is why it's so important to guard the first moments after you wake up. If you let negativity slip in first, you'll have to work twice as hard to shift your mindset later. But if you start with gratitude, you're already ahead. That positive energy becomes a filter for everything you face. Even when challenges come, you meet them differently. You approach them with perspective, knowing that one problem doesn't erase 1,000 blessings. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. It doesn't remove the difficulties from your life, but it gives you the emotional stability to handle them. Enche. It's hard to feel hopeless when you're focused on the things you're thankful for. It's hard to feel powerless when you remember all the moments you've already overcome. This is why people who practice gratitude regularly often appear calmer, more centered, and more confident. They're drawing from a well of positive energy that doesn't run dry when life gets tough. When you make gratitude a daily practice, especially in the morning, it eventually becomes automatic. You don't have to force yourself to look for the good. You just see it. And when you see more good, you create more good. That's the law of energy. What you focus on expands. So if you focus on the blessings, you'll find them multiplying in ways you didn't expect. It's easy to underestimate the impact of something so simple. You might think, how much difference can a thankful thought really make? But the difference is massive. That one thought changes your mood, your choices, your interactions, and your results. Over time, those changes compound into a completely different life. The beauty of this is that it's available to everyone. You don't need money to be grateful. You don't need perfect circumstances. All you need is the decision to start your day with appreciation. That decision will shape your energy, and your energy will shape your day. Because the energy you start with is the energy that will carry you. When you begin every morning with gratitude, something deeper starts to happen over time. It's no longer just about having a positive start to your day. It becomes a way of living. Gratitude stops being something you do and starts becoming part of who you are. You begin to see the world differently. You don't just notice the big wins. You notice the small, beautiful details that used to pass you by. And those details, when you add them up, create a life you don't feel the need to escape from. Too many people live in a constant cycle of chasing the next thing, the next promotion, the next vacation, the next achievement, thinking that once they get there, they'll finally feel happy and fulfilled. But that kind of happiness is always on the horizon. It's always a step away, and when you reach it, you realize it's not enough, so you start chasing again. Gratitude breaks that cycle. It teaches you to be happy here, now, without waiting for the next milestone. It allows you to experience contentment without losing ambition. When you wake up thankful day after day, your focus shifts from scarcity to abundance. You stop asking, what's missing, and start asking, what's already here. And when you live with that kind of mindset, you discover that happiness doesn't need to be chased. It needs to be recognized. You realize that so many of the things you once thought you needed in order to feel complete were never the source of fulfillment at all. Gratitude also changes your relationship with challenges. Instead of viewing them as proof that life is unfair, you start to see them as part of the journey, sometimes even as opportunities in disguise. You're able to face difficulties without losing your sense of peace because your happiness is no longer dependent on everything going your way. You have built it from the inside out, and that makes it unshakable. Over time, gratitude builds an inner stability that no external circumstance can take away. It's like having an anchor in the middle of life's storms. You may still feel the winds, you may still be pushed around, but you're not lost. You know where your center is, and that center is built on the awareness that even in the hardest seasons, there is still something to appreciate, something to learn, something worth holding on to. When gratitude becomes a habit, you also become less reactive. The little things that used to trigger frustration or disappointment no longer carry the same weight. You're not as quick to complain because you're too focused on what's good. You stop measuring your life against other people's because you're fully present in your own. That's not just peace, that's freedom. And the most powerful part is that this isn't temporary. When you commit to starting your days with gratitude, it shapes the way you see the world permanently. You no longer need to run away from your life to feel good. You no longer rely on outside conditions to decide your happiness for you. You've built a foundation so strong that no matter where you are, you carry that sense of fulfillment with you. This doesn't mean you stop dreaming or striving. In fact, gratitude fuels ambition in a healthier way. You still set goals, you still work hard, but you're no longer chasing them from a place of emptiness. You're moving toward them from a place of wholeness. That difference changes everything. Because when you already feel full, your achievements become an expression of joy, not a desperate attempt to fill a void. The life you build with gratitude at its core is a life where you wake up excited. Not because every day will be perfect, but because every day will hold something worth appreciating. And when you live like that, you're not just surviving, you're truly living. Because gratitude doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your entire life.